Greetings, everyone. Those of you across the world that are watching in on YouTube. This is the Europe and Africa Water Ski Championships for the disabled and also the under 21s. Check. Okay, folks, looks like we got our first competitor on the water. This is Bjorn Gordranson of Norway, skiing in the V1 category for visually impaired skiers. We'll try and get some scores as we go along. But a decent looking opening pass there from Bjorn Gulbrandsen of Norway to get things up and running here. Looking very good, looking very stylish indeed from one end of the course to the next. Making that look very, very easy indeed. Okay. I'm getting nothing through this.
Yeah, it's a wrong channel.
Is that beyond?
That's 7.
Okay, so our skier on the water continuing to roll after the opening 2 passes. That is Bjorn Gulbrandsen of Norway. Up in the ante a bit with... oh, look at this, straight up and running. Going with the interior turns. And you can hear the sound being made from the boat to indicate when it's time for the skier to turn. This is the B1 category, which would suggest a vision impairment comparable to total blindness. And that being the case, this is men's audio slalom. There is a device which is popularly known as the bat blaster, which is used to indicate when it is time to turn in lieu of the buoys. Okay, some impressive skiing to get things up and running. And looks like that
Shits on the scales?
Yeah.
I think they're sorted per country.
Okay. Okay, it's just still trying to work out where we are so far as the scoring for Bjorn Gulbrandsen. But beautiful conditions here at the Skarnes Fanski Club in Skarnes, Norway. just to give you an idea of where we are in the world so far as this facility is concerned. We're at about 60 degrees north latitude, which for those of you that need a quick refresher on geography, about 58 degrees north latitude, you'll find Juneau, which is the state capital of Alaska, for those of you that are tuning in from the United States. And we're further north than that, so that should give you an indication of how far north we are. And at this time of year, the sun doesn't even set until about 11 o'clock at night, and it only dips down very, very slightly. It doesn't go completely dark at this time of year. So it is possible, actually, to actually ski at about 10 o'clock in the evening, which is sometimes what they do up here in Norway during the summer months. But a great facility this is. It's been around for quite a while. The last major championships that they held here was the Europe and Africa Open Championships in 2011, and that was a very well done event then, and we're hoping for a similar type of event right here and now. And for those of you that want to send messages into to this event, why not tweet us at hashtag EA2016, EA2016, hashtag EA2016 to tweet in your messages. And whilst you're at it, why not send in a few of your photos? If you're watching us from your living room, or if you're watching on a phone, or doing what have you, send us that photo. Hashtag EA2016 to Instagram your photos to us. And if you're on site as well, use that hashtag and join in the conversation during the Europe and Africa Water Ski Championships for both the under 21 and disabled. Check. All right then, folks. Our next competitor to go, and this is a competitor that's pretty well known among the ranks of the visually impaired audio slalom skiers. This is Daniel Cassioli of Italia. We'll try and get an indication as to the boat speed and the possible line length that he'll be coming in on.
You announce Poland to get their bibs.
Okay, and just a quick indication to our Polish contingent. Please come to registration to receive your bibs, please. Our Polish team captain, please come and receive your bibs. Thank you very much. That little piece of housekeeping out of the way. We'll now continue on with Daniel Cassioli. I'm not too sure what boat speed he's coming in on, but he's going at a pretty decent clip, so this is probably either 55 kilometers an hour or even 58k. But looking very, very good indeed. And skiing pretty close to where the to where the buoys are for our under 21 slalom skiers, and just to show you how close to rhythm he is in respect to the slalom course. And that was a 6 buoy count confirmed there from our officials. And we'll get an indication in just a moment as to where he's going to move up to in terms of boat speed and line length. Okay, here's Danielle Cassioli. Ooh, very nicely done round that number 2. Getting some good leverage behind the boat, and seem to stop halfway down the course. I'm not too sure why, but we'll see if we can get some kind of indication as to why Danielle stalled on that particular run. Okay, so continuing on with this event, Danielle Cassioli. And looks like we're taking him towards the opposite end of the course, maybe to rerun that second pass. One or two technical difficulties experienced with that particular pass, and certainly the skiers in the V1 category are certainly dependent upon technology in terms of the bat blaster and how that is calibrated, and when it's activated, how far out, how much width the skier has to achieve before the sound is activated to bring them back in towards the opposite side of the wake. Time right now is 20 past 8 in the morning. We're already on to our second athlete, Daniele Cassioli. Ooh, not looking bad at all, in fact. He's certainly got the technique down to a fine art. And the multiple blasts at the end of that pass indicating that that one is complete. Alright then, here comes Danielle coming in. Oh, nicely done there on number one. So a decent effort there all the way around from Daniele Cassioli. Okay, so we got a score coming through for Daniele Cassioli. It's a 0 at 13 meters, 0 at 13 meters, which would be counted back ordinarily to 6 buoys on 14.25 meters. And I believe with that score, Daniele has the current lead with one competitor remaining. It'll be Uber Riva, another compatriot from Italy, who have brought in an extraordinarily strong team in the disabled competition. Pretty much have competitors in all categories, save for one. So well represented, the Italians, in this event. So Daniele Cassioli, 0 at 13 meters, is his final score. Daniele Cassioli in the back of that towboat are being transported to the dock. Job well done there for him. And he now hands off to our next competitor, also from Italy, Uber Riva. Okay, as we get ready to bring Uber Riva into the course, let me remind you about the official website for this event. It's ea2016.no. ea2016.no is the official website for this event. The Europe and Africa Water Ski Championships for both the under-21s and disabled. Feel free to tweet us your messages. Hashtag EA2016 to tweet in your messages. And whilst we're at it, if you want to Instagram your photos, the hashtag is going to be, once again, EA2016. We look forward to seeing a few of those photos and those tweets, and they could end up making it on this broadcast. Okay, our next competitor on the water is Uber Riva from Italy. Last skier. And Uber Riva not getting the best of starts, I'm afraid, on the opening pass.
We got a 0 score. We didn't get anything else. And everything was okay.
Okay, make sure that connection is good on the camera. The black camera? Yeah. That's good, keep it there, thank you. Oh. Okay, so Uber Riva. Just trying to get confirmation on that score, on that opening pass. Looks like Uber Riva is being brought back to the dock. His effort in these championships are unfortunately rather short-lived. Or he may actually be brought to the end to get a rerun on the opening pass. So Uber Riva on that, receiving a 0 score on that opening pass, and that concludes this section of the competition, which is the V1 audio slalom. Next category on this list is going to be the ladies standing slalom. Both our competitors in this instance are of the AL2 disability category, which I believe alludes to spinal cord injuries. And the running order for that consists of Claire Ellis from Great Britain taking to the water first, followed by Elizabeth Dotberg of Norway. As we continue on the Europe and Africa Disabled Water Ski Championships right here from the Slorstad Vanski Club here in Skarnes, Norway. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we go into our next category, we have to do a quick little bit of maintenance to the slalom course. In this instance, it's the installation of the green inner slalom buoys, of which the skiers in the next categories have the option of going round in lieu of the outer buoys, but obviously they must designate to the boats and to the visuals of their intention to go around the inner buoys as opposed to the outer ones with each pass. taking a look at our running orders for the next few categories, which involved standing and seated slalom. Our next event is Lady Standing Slalom, which consists of Claire Ellis and Elizabeth Berg of Norway. Then after that, it will be the men's standing slalom, Toon van der Ploeg of the Netherlands, followed by Mikhail Zitlovsky of Russia, and also Christian Lafala of Italy. And then we'll transition from there to the ladies seated slalom. Elsie Antonsson of Sweden takes the water first, followed by Sabrina Bassi of Italia. And then rounding off the seated slalom, Delphine Le Suisse of France. And then our final disabled category in the men's slalom competition, Thomas Vergnet, starting off for France. This is the men's seated slalom, don't forget. Then we'll have Eamon Prunty of Ireland. Then Petro Di Maria of Italy. Christoph Fassel of Switzerland. Glenn Poulsen of Norway. Emmanuel Senin of France. And Philippe Toussaint of France. And those are the running orders for our remaining disabled events. As we get ready for some more action in the opening salvo here in the Europe and Africa water ski championships for the disabled category. First skier out in the ladies standing slalom competition is going to be Great Britain's Claire Ellis. Before we take to the water with our first competitor, the towboat, making the run up and down the course. As a simulation pass, it occurs not only in our disabled events but also in regular tournament events, and you'll see that quite a bit when we transition to the European Under-21 competition after the conclusion of the disabled slalom events this morning. We have one other disabled event that we'll be putting out onto the water. That will be our final event of the day, which is the jumping event in all categories, visually impaired and standing and seated disabilities. And I saw some of the jumps taken yesterday in practice by some of our competitors in this tournament, and I tell you what, it is a sight to behold. And you'll see that a little bit later on this afternoon, our final event in the in the disability categories. The jumping event. But today it's almost all slalom. As Ricardo Bottas, the maestro behind the wheel of that Nautic 200, making his way to the slalom dock. And at the starting dock, waiting eagerly for her turn, it's going to be Great Britain's Claire Ellis. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our first competitor in ladies standing slalom coming in at 28 kilometers an hour and electing to go on the outer course. This is Claire Ellis. Electing to use a trick ski for the purposes of this competition. Nicely done on the opening 2 and 3 buoys at this time. Not looking bad at all. And based upon that, she's going to go from 28 outer and upgrade to the higher boat speed of 31 kilometers an hour. That is Claire Ellis. And here comes Claire Ellis, a sole competitor from Great Britain in this event. She started on 28 kilometers an hour on the outer course. A little on the back of the ski and going airborne between the first turn and the second. Even went a little bit airborne on the entrance gate, if I'm being honest. Round number 3, good to go. Round number 4. Should be on time for number 5 and gets round that number 6 without too many problems. Okay, and back once again. This is Claire Ellis's third pass. She started in at 28 kilometers an hour on the outer course, and that boat speed now significantly quicker, and it's going to make it a little bit harder for her on that trick ski to get round. Now she's trying to keep the trick ski a little closer to the surface of the water as she gets from one side of the course to the next. And not looking too bad at all. 3 passes down and 6 buoys accredited to each one of them. That is Claire Ellis. Okay, so 3 passes down. This is the 4th pass for her, and she'll be coming into the course at 40 kilometers an hour. Now, for those of you that are watching us from the United States, that is the equivalent of 24 mile an hour. And those of you that have ever tried some slippery slalom out there, you know that it's a pretty difficult feat to go through the course on a trick ski at 24 mile an hour, and that's exactly what Claire Ellis has in front of her right now. Looking pretty decent. Oh, breaking into that turn, and she is down course. She's gone round number 4 now. Can she battle it to 5? Not quite. She pulls up and gets a 4 buoy count at 40 kilometers an hour. That is Claire Ellis as she pulls into the dock. Decent score there with 4 buoys at 40 kilometers an hour. So good effort there from her on that trick ski. Decent effort there from her. Right to 40 kilometers an hour. That is Claire Ellis. Okay, and our next competitor, Elizabeth Berg of Norway, and she's going to come in at 43 kilometers an hour, but by contrast to Claire Ellis, she is electing to go on the inner course. And also electing to go with 2 skis. Trying to work her way diligently from one side of the course to the next. That's Elizabeth Dotberg from Norway. Six buoys confirmed there on the inner course at 43 kilometers an hour. That's 26 miles an hour for those of you tuning to us from the United States. So now she is going to go to 46 kilometers an hour for the next run, and I don't think she's going to deviate from the inner course, so she'll continue along that path at least for this next pass, and maybe a few more after that. We'll see how she gets along. Beautiful conditions here at the Schlossstavanski Club. Here we go. This is Elizabeth Dotberg. Entrance gates round the first inner buoy. Trying to keep herself composed from one side of the course to the other. Craning her neck over just to try and get a little bit more off each turn. That was at 46 kilometers an hour. We'll get the score from the boat. I think that might actually be her lot. I think she was probably inside number 6 on that particular effort. And it is 5. 5 is the score that's come through. 5 at 46 inner there for Elizabeth Dotberg. For Norway, 5 at 46 kilometers on the inner course. She makes her way back to the dock on the 2 skis. And that will represent her best effort in the elimination round. And the standing ladies slalom is concluded in this round, and we'll now go to standing men's slalom, where our first competitor up is going to be Toom van der Ploeg of going straight into this event without no hesitation whatsoever. Alright, so coming into the course at 49. Oh, and look at this, folks. Toon van der Ploeg. Getting round that number 3. Oh, look at this. This is some good skiing here. 49 kilometers an hour Remarkable skiing there from Toon van der Ploeg. Hope I pronounced that name right, but and as you can plainly see, working with an arm disability there, which requires the use of a device called the Dolga sling, which basically replaces the left arm, whilst he has full range of motion with the right arm, as long as he holds on to that handle with his right hand, that the sling will take care of the rest so far as the left side of his body is concerned. And from 49 kilometers an hour, we will go to 52 kilometers an hour. Same progression in boat speeds between disabled and tournament events. Looking technically very good out there on the course. Oh, getting a little bit deep off number 2. Off actually that number 3, number 4. Come on, get after it. Oh, and just inside that number 5, and that turn on number 3, that hit that he took basically cost him the pass, but he still recovered enough to get at least 1 or 2 more buoys out of the deal. So Toon van der Ploeg of the Netherlands ends off his run with that particular score, which I believe is going to be, prior to official confirmation, going to be 5. So let's have a look at the running order for the remainder of this particular event category. Our next skier up is going to be Mikhail Zaglowski of Russia, the oldest competitor in this competition by some margin, folks. And Christian Lafalla of Italia will be our final competitor in the men's standing slalom. And then we'll transition from the standing slalom to the seated slalom in just a few moments after that. Okay, coming into the course at 46 kilometers an hour, this is Mikhail Zaglowski. And as you could plainly see, Mikhail working with a leg disability, notably an amputation. Oh, getting it into deep there around number 4, and unfortunately unable to take the hit and continue on. So that is going to be a 3 1/2 buoy score there for him. Mikhail Zaglowski of Russia. Our oldest competitor in this competition. When he was born, Mikhail Zaglowski, skier in the water, having scored a 3.5. When he was born, Nikita Khrushchev had just assumed the reins of power in the Soviet Union. So he gets 3.5, which is translated to the to the official starting speed for this event, which is 3.5 at 31k. So Mikhail Zaglowski, I'm sure that he'll have a different plan for that particular run, given the opportunity to ski again. So Mikhail Zaglowski will now make way for Christian Linfala. Okay, Christian Lanfellow of Italia making the turn around the island. Get an indication as to the opening pass speed, but I tell you what, he's going at a fairly good clip here, and riding that slalom ski round all 6 buoys on the opening pass, and just look at him go. That is some great technique out there, and getting dialed into the conditions here right off the get-go. Okay, and he started off at 52 kilometers an hour. This is now 55k. The line length is still, I believe, at 18.25 meters. Handle up a little bit high and getting into all kinds of difficulty on the entrance gates into number 1, but he's a pretty skilled athlete. Look at this. Oh, man alive, getting round all 6 buoys there at 55 kilometers an hour. Didn't get the best of starts, but I tell you what, it's not how you start that counts, it's how you finish. And finishing off with a good pass there at 55k. Christian Lanfala of Italia, the last of our standing slalom categories this morning. And then our next two series consist of seated slalom skiing. First of all, the ladies, and then the men. And for those of you tuning in online, more information on this event can be obtained from ea2016.no, ea2016.no. Here is Christian Landfella. Okay, so that's a boat speed at 58k. Oh my word, this is great skiing. And he seems to have fully recovered from that that start at 55 and comes back with an absolutely flawless 58k pass. And from here on out, the boat speed stays the same. The line length is the thing that changes between passes, and he will come back into the course at 58k, 16 meters.
The record is 3 boys on the next pass.
Oh, and just receiving a word from my good friend upstairs, Mr. Paul Airy, who's pretty much an aficionado of these types of events. The record, which I believe is the European record for this event, is 3. So let's see if he can get off to a good start. Now, this is going to be 16 meters, or 22 off for those of you that are watching us from across the pond. One of the difficult things associated with the 16-meter pass is the rooster tail, or the bump that's generated by the boat. Hard enough at the best of times if you are if you're a typical skier, but approaching that wake on one leg and trying to counter that, or almost getting pitched forward into number 1, gets a good turn round at number 2. But unfortunately has to pull up on number 2, and 1 buoy short of the record there, the European record. 2 buoys on 16 meters at 58 kilometers an hour. Well done to that man, Christian Landfella of Italia.
2 at 16, 2 at 16.
So 2 on the 16-meter line at 58 kilometers an hour to round off the standing slalom in this preliminary round. So, well done to him. We'll transition to the seated slalom event. The seated slalom event. We are going to take a quick look at the running order.
Next year, LC Antonsson, 46, 16.
First competitor out is going to be Elsie Antonsson from Sweden. Then we'll follow on with Sabrina Bassi of Italia, and then Delphine Le Suisse of France. So we have 3 competitors in this particular section. And then after that, we'll go on to the men's seated slalom, where we'll see Thomas Vergne, followed by Eamon Prunty, Pedro de Maria, Christoph Fassel, Glenn Paulson, Emmanuel Senin, and Philippe Terseng. So, a lot of skiing ahead of us. And our first competitor out in the seated slalom competition, Elsie Antonsson. Okay, coming in at 46 kilometers an hour or 28 miles an hour and electing to go with the inner course. Or actually, this is 28k. We'll get confirmation on the speed, but I tell you what, making that pass on the inner course looked very, very easy indeed. That's Elsie Antonsen. Okay, working away from 46k to 49 kilometers an hour, the equivalent of 30 miles an hour. This is Elsie Antonsen. Getting a little bit of lift from the wakes now. The boat speed. Oh, and I think inside number 3 on that one. So she's going to get 2 buoys awarded to her. 2 buoys at 2 buoys at 46 inner there for her. Actually, 2 at 49 inner. I do beg your pardon. So she was at 49 kilometers an hour, elected to go on the inner course and getting 2 buoys as a result of that effort. Okay, next competitor up from Italia is going to be Sabrina Bassi. Okay, and coming into course at 40 kilometers an hour on the inner course. Okay, at 40 kilometers inner course. Looking okay, getting a little bit airborne there off number 2, but something that she can control pretty well. Nicely done at 40k, equivalent to 24 miles an hour. So, Sabrina Bassi with 6 buoys there at 14. Now the boat speed gets increased to 43 kilometers an hour. Sabrina Bassi on that second pass, 43 kilometers an hour. Might actually have gone a little bit less in speed and decided to nominate the outer course with the second pass. So 6 buoys there on that second pass on the outer course. So on that pass, she elected to go at 37k on the outer course. And I suspect that this is going to be at 40 kilometers an hour, but electing to go with the outer course, which does up the difficulty level somewhat, managing to get outside number 4, but unfortunately running a little bit late on that pass. So that is going to be 40 kilometers an hour on the outer course, as is confirmed by our boat judge.
Okay, score confirmed for Sabrina Bassi. 4 at 40.
4 at 40 on the outer course. And that will conclude Sabrina Bassi's effort. We've got one more competitor to come. Delphine Le Suisse. And for those of you that follow disabled water skiing, that's a name that I'm sure is very, very recognizable to all. So, Sabrina Bassi, no slouch on the slalom course herself, getting around 4 buoys on the outer course at 40k, as the Nautic 200 brings her back into the starting dock area.
Next year, Delphine Lesource has 37, 18, out third.
Okay, so Delphine Le Suisse of France. I got the pronunciation right at least. So she is our next competitor, and she'll be the last one in the seated ladies slalom.
Okay, we have Delphine, 37 out there, 37 out.
All right, 37 outer.
Confirmed.
is going to be the opening pass for Delphine Lassos. And as I mentioned, she is going to be the last of our ladies slalom skiers. Our next category is going to feature the men's seated slalom. So the boat making its way up to speed. Coming in at a speed equivalent to 20 miles an hour. Delphine Lassos. Oh, look at this. Just getting right after it, right from the get-go. Head down, determination personified there by Delphine Lassos. And round all 6 buoys on the outer course at 37 kilometers an hour. No two ways about that pass. And now from 37 kilometers an hour, she's going to elect to stay with the outer course and go in at 40. Here comes Delphine Lassos. This is going to be at 40 kilometers an hour now. Getting set up for the entrance gate. Look at this. Really cranking it over at 40k. Delphine Lassos. Oh, look at that. Round number 5. Can she make it round number 6? Oh, and she pulls up after that one and gets the 5 at 40. 5 at 40k, the final score. So 5 at 40 is actually going to be the lead score from this round of the competition. Delphine Lassos with 5 at 40, and she leads the seated slalom. Unconfirmed there. 5 at 40. Okay, Thomas Vergne of France coming in at 43 kilometers an hour, 43 kilometers an hour, but electing to go with the inner course at that speed. Not looking too bad on the inner course, just keeping it together nice and smooth at 43. And it looks like 46 kilometers an hour is going to be the next run. Okay, and here comes Thomas Vergne coming in at 46 kilometers an hour. Successfully running the opening pass, and that gives him the opportunity to come in on pass number 2. The course for him is going to remain the inner buoys. There we go. The inner buoys are represented by the with the green buoys. Round number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and should get outside number 6, but we'll get confirmation by the by our. It is a 6 buoy count confirmed by our boat official, and that was at 46 kilometers an hour. He's now going to be upgrading that boat speed to 49, which is equivalent to 30 miles an hour, folks. Okay, so Thomas Vergne is on the water, and those of you that are watching online can see the running order. I'll put that up on the screen, back up on the screen in a moment. But here comes Thomas Vergne. Now decided to go with the outer buoys. Probably nominated a slower boat speed to make this happen. And unfortunately didn't get much of anything going on that particular run. Obviously something was seen there to suggest that he got the 0 count on that particular pass, but so Thomas Vergne making the turn around the bottom end of the lake. So he went from 43 to 46 on the inner course, and So 37 outer on the on this pass. Those of you that were tuning in, we had a little bit of technical issue with the webcast, but that has been resolved now. This is Pedro de Maria. De Maria doing a very, very good job indeed with the opening pass.
Så har vi fått litt hjelp fra Helene Vest.
37 out under his belt, looking in very, very good shape indeed from one end of the course to the next. So right here at Seap in Skarnes, Norway, this is your announcer, Tony Lightfoot, bringing you live coverage of this event, broadcast around the world at youtube.com/waterski broadcasting, youtube.com/waterski broadcasting. And these events are being webcast live, but as soon as the events are completed, they're immediately archived for later viewing. So if you're not able to immediately watch the events as they occur, then you can watch them later at your leisure. So, here we go. This is Pedro de Maria. Having started at 37, I believe he's going to come back in at 40. Oh, look at this. Getting round number one and getting broken over a little bit on number two, but managing to hold his own. Getting a little bit of air off the wakes. But that's nothing he can't control. And round number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and indeed number 6 to run that second pass. Six buoys confirmed on that particular pass.
Record for this is 6 boys on the next pass.
Okay, so we're into record-breaking territory. This is going to be 43 kilometers an hour. He's going to go on the outer course, and the record is 6 on this particular run. So potentially he could tie the record with a complete pass, and anything beyond that, and he would set the record all by himself. Now, number 1. Now, this is going to be an uphill battle for him, but if he can get that decent turn on number 3 to stay on it, look at he go around number 4. And pulls up off number 4, and the game is up there for him, but within 2 buoys of the record in this particular disability class. 4 buoys at 43 kilometers an hour, and record being 6, but I'm sure he'll have an opportunity in the next round to try and attack that particular score. So decent effort there from Pedro de Maria. and some applause from our staff and our crew along the shoreline here, and looks like we're going to get a pretty decent crowd here, and already see some members of the British contingent along the shoreline. Yes, indeed. That's Joel Poland right there, one of the top gladiators in this event, in the under-21, and we'll see that in a short while. We have ladies and men's under-21 slalom skiing on tap for you immediately after conclusion of the seated men's slalom. A rather unique situation here with this event. Not only are we hosting the under-21 European and Africa Championships, but we're also hosting the disabled championships as well, the disabled Europe and Africa Championships. And our next skier to take to water will be Christoph Fassel. Coming to us from Switzerland, this is Christoph Fassel. Very smooth gate shot there. I'd imagine that this is somewhere in the region of 37 kilometers an hour for his opener. And going with the outer buoy straight away here. Very smooth indeed. And early as you like into number 6. Good effort there from Christoph. So approaching the 2-hour mark in this event. And now we've got Christoph Fassel from Switzerland. Name that's been synonymous with seated men's slalom skiing. Okay, and this is 40 kilometers an hour. Just breaking that ski into a turn, and look at him go. Round number 3, getting a little bit sideways in the air there, coming into number 4. Let's see if he can hold it together off 5 into number 6, holding this direction. And that is going to be a 6 buoy count at 40. And now he's in a position where he could attack the record himself. 43 kilometers an hour on the outer course, his next run. If he can get to 6, he will tie the record, and then he would have an opportunity to set it all by himself with a score on the pass to come afterwards. So Christoph Fassel from Switzerland. So coming back at 43 kilometers an hour. Equivalent to 26 miles an hour. Here he comes. At Correct Craft Nautique 200. Bringing in Christoph Fussell, entrance gates. Nicely done. Round that number 2. Let's see how far he gets. Round number 3. Now getting a little bit pitched out off number 4. Now let's see if he can get round number 5. Can he make it round number 6? And I believe we do have a tie for the record with a 6 buoy count at 43. So great effort there.
Tony, the record is different for this category, even though it's in the same division. It's 2 at 52 for the European record.
Okay, so a great effort. The best that we've seen out of our seated skiers so far in this competition. But because Christoph Fussell skis in MP4, here's the record for his division is a little bit different from that of the other divisions that we've seen so far. In MP4, the slalom record is, I believe, 2 at 52 kilometers an hour, which means he's still got quite a ways to go. We are at 46 kilometers an hour now. So he's still got to complete 2 more passes before he gets anywhere within the neighborhood of setting a record. But so far as this event is concerned, this is our best score out of our seated skiers thus far. Here we go. Christoph Fussell from Switzerland. Round number 1. Taking a good hit in round number 2. Dropping in hard to get round number 3. Look at him go. And the slack off that number 3, unfortunately, dealing him a hand that he couldn't really work with. So it's going to be a score there of 3 buoys at 46k. 3 buoys at 46k. I'm sure that he'll have another opportunity to compete when the next round of this competition takes place. Next competitor up. For all you Norwegian fans out here, let's get cheering for this guy, Glenn Paulson. So, electing to go with the inner course and going at 43 kilometers an hour. So, inner course it is for Glenn Paulson. And there you go. Good looking opening pass at 43 kilometers an hour. So we are in the seated slalom competition, the men's seated slalom. For those of you wondering about the running order for that event, bring it up to you right now. We've already gotten past the first four competitors. Glenn Paulson, number 5. Then we got 2 more to go: Emmanuel Senin and Philippe Tersay. And here comes Glenn Paulson. This is going to be, I believe, 46 kilometers an hour on the inner course. Come on, Glenn. Herding grunt there after number 4, really putting in some effort to make this 46k pass possible, and he gets the job done. Okay, so continuing on with Glenn Paulson. Now, he is still electing to go, I believe, with the inner course, which means he's going to be at 14. Oh, and getting in deep off number 1 at 49k on the inner course, and out of his seat, out of his ski. And just not able to continue on. That is Glenn Paulson. So a quarter buoy given to him. A quarter buoy for that effort, Glenn Paulson. So that was at 49. Still needed to go some ways to get within the territory of the record, which still is 6 buoys at 43k outer course. But even though that was 49 kilometers an hour, just seen from Glenn Paulson, all of his buoys would be calculated as inner course. And now we're down to 2 final competitors. Now, for those of you that are watching disabled slalom skiing for the first time, particularly the seated divisions, and there are 5 seated categories within seated slalom, and it's categorized in terms of mobility within that specific disability realm. Number 1 being least able, and number 5 being most able, and for those of you wondering how that's determined, well, yesterday all of our competitors had to submit themselves for certification, and they go through a rigorous amount of testing using an apparatus that's used to measure the amount of mobility that each of our competitors currently has. Because I'm sure that some of you may be aware, but sometimes mobility changes over the course of time, and that has to be taken into account. That has to be measured and certified so that the skiers ski within their particular mobility category within this particular division. Now, having said all that, we are in MP2, which is the second least mobile mobility category within this section of the competition. MP2 for Emmanuel Senin. Okay, so Emmanuel Senin. Looking okay. On the inner course. And not looking bad at all. So, a good effort there on the opening pass. Paul, what's his next? Okay, so here we go at 46 inner. Go. That's number one. This is a 46k and getting pulled around a little bit from buoy to buoy. Oh wow! And skiing almost straight to each buoy, not leaving himself an awful lot of room in which to make the turns. But I tell you what, he managed to get round all 6 buoys on that particular pass at 46, and now it's going to get upgraded to 49k. So 6 buoys confirmed. So now we're on our penultimate skier in our disabled slalom event in the preliminary round. We've got one more to come, Philippe Tessé of France. But his compatriot is on the water right now, Emmanuel Senin, and he'll be coming into the course at 49k behind that Ski Nautique 200. Looking good so far at 49. Oh, barely getting around that number 3, and he's going to be inside number 4, so it's going to be a 3 buoy count. A boat going at a pretty decent clip there. So on the inner course, 3 at 49. 3 buoys at 49 kilometers an hour on the inner course. Now, for those of you watching that are typically watch a tournament water skiing or involved in those particular events, 49 kilometers an hour may not sound particularly fast. It's equivalent to 30 miles an hour, but you just imagine being able to produce passes like that at his seated level. It's almost the equivalent of being in a go-kart type deal. You're kind of seated very low, and even though the go-kart is only going at a really limited speed, it just seems that much faster when you're that low on top of the water. So 49, a pretty healthy speed there for Emmanuel Senin.
The next skier only use the same handle.
And now in the MP3 category, Philippe Toussaint.
Next skier, Philippe Turkey, 37 outer.
37 outer. Okay, so starting on a speed and course width that would put him within about 2 passes of the record score of 6 at 43. And 6 at 43 is the world record, and that could well be attempted by Philippe Toussaint. He's going to go on the outer course in the MP3 slalom division. So Philippe Toussaint, he'll be coming in at 37. I sure would like to get the footage that's on his GoPro. He has a strap to his helmet. Here he comes at 37. Oh, almost breaking over too much into number 1. This is the outer course. It ramps up the difficulty by a considerable amount. Look at him go. He's round number 5 at 37k. And nails the pass, so he's now going to go up to 40. Now, to the best of my recollection, in MP3, the best score that we've seen is 4 at 43k, so within 2 buoys of the world record. And that score of 6 at 43 also happens to be the European record as well. So it could be killing 2 birds with 1 stone, so to speak, if we get to that point. So far as Philippe Toussaint is concerned, he is in the water right now. He is at 40k. He's still electing to go with the outer buoys, so he's really going for it with this particular run. Let's see if he can get through this pass and maybe attempt to get as far down 43 as he can, if not get within world record territory. So here we go. This is Philippe Toussaint. Performing what would be closely associated with a one-handed gate shot and getting round number 1 at 40 and just not getting the turn that he really truly needed on 40k to keep that pass going. So it's going to be a 1 buoy count at 40. So it's going to be 1 buoy at 40k. So Philippe Toussaint is going to receive a score of 1 buoy 40k on the outer course. And now that concludes this section of the Europe and Africa Water Ski Championships, Europe and Africa Disabled Water Ski Championships. Our next action is going to feature the women's slalom event in the European Under-21 Championships. So, let's have a quick look at the running order for that particular event before we terminate this section of the webcast. Our start time is going to be 10:30 a.m. Sansha Altram will get things going for Great Britain. Then Pernille Eriksson from Norway. Laura Rader from Austria. Elena Kachaskaya from Belarus. Ellen Hellman from Finland. Kacharia Kasiliova of Belarus. Lika Rovers of the Netherlands. Jane Tuffender of Sweden. Pia Mil Botella of Spain. And Metalami of Finland. Those are the first 10 skiers in the in that series of slalom skiing. Then we'll go on to Series 1, where we see Alicia Bagnoli of Italy, Tatiana Kogner of Switzerland, Pernilla Grobert, also of Switzerland, Tia Caroline Granos of Norway, Marta Simon of Portugal, Elena Bischofsberger of France, Charlotte Wharton of Great Britain, Sasha Danyashkaya of Belarus, Elise Patarel of Switzerland, and Yanina Grosset of France. So, we have got a lot of skiing on tap for the European Under-21 Championships. Those are the two series of ladies skiing that we'll see. And as I say, a lot of skiing to come. But so far as the European Disabled Water Ski Championships are concerned, we've seen the first of our preliminary events, and we'll terminate this webcast in just a moment or so. So this has been your announcer, Tony Lightfoot. So far, we've gone through several sections of the Disabled Europe and Africa Championships, but we've got so much more to come. We even have the Disabled Jump later on this afternoon. But for now, we'll terminate this webcast, and I will see you on the flip side for the European Under-21 Championships.